Privet and hello to all Putincoin fans in the world. Today I've got a very interesting and important topic for you. It's going about liquidity providing in a new Binance Coin Putincoin token liquidity pool on PancakeSwap. What is a liquidity pool? How can you add liquidity? And what rewards you get from adding liquidity? That's the things we are going to talk about today. If you may remember from the previous tutorial, we've got a token bridge where you can swap your real Putin coins into Rep Putin coin token or the WPUT token and trade them on decentralized exchanges like PancakeSwap. We talked about that and how it works in the previous tutorial. If you don't know it, please watch the previous tutorial first. We are supposing now you got WPUT tokens and have yourself connected to PancakeSwap. Now, before we go into the topic on how to provide liquidity, we first need to know and need to see how a liquidity pool is working anyhow. In the previous tutorial, we've already seen how to connect our MetaMask to PancakeSwap, how to find the WPUT token and its respective liquidity pool and trading pool, and how to do some simple trades. Today we will learn how to provide liquidity to this pool and get some automatic earnings from it. To put it in a nutshell, a DEX trading pool mainly consists of two compartments where the liquidity providers put their liquidity into. On the left hand they put one token, on the other hand another token of the respective trading pair. Like in our case, liquidity providers put Putin coin token into the left compartment and Binance tokens into the right compartment and enable people to trade Putin coin token against Binance coin tokens with this liquidity provision. And for providing this liquidity, they get their own share in all the trading fees which are produced when people trade in this pool. So if you provide liquidity, you get trading fees. You earn trading fees automatically. Whenever a trade is done, all the liquidity providers will receive their share in the trading fees of the trading pool. So, what are the unprecedented advantages of this newly developed market? We need to talk about this also. In this case, when you remember the normal spot exchanges, which are run by companies, or by associations. You know some of them. It's Binance, it's Kraken, it's whatsoever. They are run by third parties. The big difference on the decentralized exchanges are they are not running by a third party. They are run by the blockchain itself in a smart contract blockchain, like it's Ethereum or it's Binance chain or whatsoever. What are the big advantages of this construction? The big advantages of this construction are that there are no more outrageous listing fees, no unwanted delistings and no negotiations with third party, no KYC, so you don't need to provide a passport, a selfie of your beautiful face and whatsoever, so your privacy is protected 100%. You don't need to entrust your own coins or tokens to third parties and have to trust them that they are keeping them well. And no human errors are possible on the blockchain because it's a computer system. And above all, the new automatic earning opportunities for coin owners. These are the things we are talking about today. A new customer base, a new market, and simple bot integration to do market making for each liquidity pool on such decentralized exchanges. That's the big advantages in contrast to the well-known spot exchanges. Okay, so we were just talking about automatic earning opportunities. It's not very difficult and I can show it within one sheet. So let's go to the next step. How these fees are earned. That's the first question we need to ask ourselves. So you see the two compartments, the left side Putin coin, on the right side Binance tokens. And just suppose you are one of the liquidity providers. You put some Putincoin token on the left side, some Binance tokens on the right side. When you do this, you get an automatic LP token, which stands for liquidity provider token, which is representing your liquidity put in. Whenever you make a put in, it will be represented by LP token so that you have always access to it. You can always withdraw it and always add some to the liquidity pool. And you also can sell or transfer your share in the liquidity pool when you transfer the liquidity token. How crazy is that? Now we just need to show and need to watch and need to talk about how these fees are earned when there is a trade in this liquidity pool. So, as we talked about, providing liquidity gives you a reward in form of trading fees when people use the liquidity pool for trading. Meaning, whenever someone trades on PancakeSwap, the trader pays, let's say, a 0.25% fee, of which 0.17 is added to the liquidity pool itself, to liquidity pool of WPUT WBNB swap pair. Let's have an example. When you provide liquidity, let's suppose that it is a 0.17% fee sharing like in the above example. And let's suppose you got 10 WPUT WBNB LP tokens in your wallet, which is representing a liquidity provision of 1 million WPUT and 1 WBNB token liquidity in the WPUT WBNB liquidity pool. To put it in a nutshell, one of your shares, meaning one LP token in this liquidity pool, stands for 100,000 WPUT tokens and 0.1 BNB tokens. Let's assume someone trades 100,000 WPUT for 0.1 WBNB token and 0.17% fee representing 170 WPUT is paid. Then each of your 10 LP tokens is now worth 100,170 WPUT and 0.1 WBNB. And we assume furthermore that now someone trades 0.1 WBNB for 100,000 WPUT, and again he pays 0.17% fee, which in this case is 0.000017 WBNB. If you make it together, it's 100,170 WPUT and 0.100017 WBNB. It's multiplied by 10, of course, because you have 10 LP tokens. So you see, it depends in which direction the trade is effected. When you trade WPUT for BNB, you get the fee in WPUT. When you trade BNB in WPUT, you get your fees in BBNB. And this each time a trade is made, no matter in what direction. How cool is that? Okay, that's it. That's how a liquidity provider earns rewards. And now we are looking at it in real world. And we switch over to PancakeSwap. We've now switched over to PancakeSwap like we did in the last tutorial. We again find it at the domain pancakeswap.finance, and in order to be able to interact with PancakeSwap, we have to connect our MetaMask with it. So we have to click the connect button here in the upper right corner, and we click on MetaMask. MetaMask opens. Then we have to enter our password if we haven't unlocked our MetaMask already. I haven't, so I have to enter the password. Then I click on unlock. And then it's asking me which address I want to add or to connect to PancakeSwap, because I'm maintaining 2 addresses in my MetaMask. If you don't, it doesn't ask you that. I select the lower one, and then I click next, and then I confirm. And now, as you can see, my MetaMask is correctly connected to PancakeSwap, and we can proceed. When you go on trade, you surely remember the swap section, where we can trade our Putin coins. And as we already added the Putin coin token to our Pancake portfolio the last time, we can select it here, as you can see, and it shows us our balance. We've got 800,000 W Putin coin token and 0.8 Binance coins. But today we don't want to earn by trading W Putin coin, we want to earn by providing W Putin coin and Binance coins to the Putin coin liquidity pool. And that's as easy as doing a swap or a trade, I can promise you. Just change the section from trade or swap to liquidity. And then it just asks us, add liquidity. Yes, that's what we want, so we click this button. Then we are redirected to the liquidity provision form, and we see the pool Binance Coin Cake has been pre-selected as it is the standard pool on PancakeSwap. But we want to add to the W Putin coin pool, so we have to change this selection and select W Put from the list. And now he's asking us which liquidity plan we want to add liquidity to. There are two selections. The one here above is V3 liquidity plan, and that was created by PancakeSwap a short time ago in order to give liquidity providers more control over their fee range they would like to earn. But it is a lot more complicated, and we just add V2 liquidity because it's automatically choosing the perfect liquidity range for our liquidity provision. That's also why we set up the Putin coin liquidity pool by using this V2 liquidity plan. So we just click on add V2 liquidity, and then it asks us how much liquidity we want to provide. If we remember, in the previous presentation we got the information that the liquidity pool consists of two compartments. One compartment holds one side of the token pair, and the second compartment holds the other side of the token pair. Now we can choose how much liquidity we want to add to each token pair. Okay, let's see what's the value of our holdings in our MetaMask. Okay, 0.8 BNB are about $517. Okay, I think we could afford to provide around $500 to the Putin coin liquidity pool as it has good revenues. We don't add the whole amount, we want to add $500. Ah yeah, 0.78 Binance coins represent $503. Wonderful. It automatically calculates the amount of Putin coin token on the other hand on basis of the price which is actually present in the W Put Binance coin trading pair. You can change it also on the Putin coin side if you want to say we want to just add 690,000. Yeah, and this will be around $500 in Binance coin and around $497 in the value of Putin coins. Okay, I think this is the amount we want to have. You can see we now need to enable W Putin coin pool in our MetaMask, yeah, in order to be able to add liquidity. But before, you just have to keep in mind that you cannot add, of course, you cannot add more liquidity than you got in tokens on the MetaMask. So we've got around 800,000 Putin coin tokens, as you can see here above. Let's try to enter 900,000. And you see here it changes to insufficient W Put balance. So that's not what we have got, and that's not what we can provide. So we change it back to 690, and it's really about $500. We made a good guess. So now we have to enable this pool, as I said before. By enabling the W Putin coin trading pool in our MetaMask, we give PancakeSwap the allowance to withdraw our 0.77 Binance coins and 690,000 Putin coin token and put them into the liquidity pool. This permission has to be given just once, and when it has been given, you can add or withdraw liquidity anytime you want because your MetaMask already provided the provision to do so. Just mentioning withdraw. Yes, you can also withdraw liquidity as you may withdraw your earnings, but you can also add new liquidity if you want to have a bigger share in the pool. And for these two things, you just have to enable the pool just once, as I said before. So we do it by clicking Enable W Put. Our MetaMask opens, and yes, we sign the smart contract here and we approve this liquidity pool in our MetaMask. It's waiting for the confirmation from the blockchain. Now we got it, as you can see, and here is the add button. We are now allowed to add our liquidity to this pool. And that's what we will do now. We will add 0.774348 Binance coins and 690,000 W Putin coin tokens, on the other hand, to this liquidity pool by clicking on Add. So now it gives us a short summary. Okay, wonderful. We will get a share of 10% in this pool. This is a very good number. Yeah, we like it. We confirm the supply, and it opens the MetaMask, telling us that it will withdraw 0.774 Binance coins and 690,000 W Putin coin token and put it into the liquidity pool. Okay, we want to do it. We click on confirm, and we are waiting for the blockchain confirmation, which we just received. And now there's a very important thing to do. Before you close this window, we need to add the Cake LP token, which represents our liquidity put in, to our MetaMask in order not to have to search it cumbersomely in the blockchain. So if you want to maintain, and you be sure you want to maintain your liquidity token, which represents your liquidity put in your MetaMask, please click on Add Cake LP to Wallet. We do it, and then we say Add Token. And then we can close this window. We can go to our MetaMask and we jump to tokens. We see that we got 0.00728 Cake LP token, which represent our share in the liquidity pool. Wonderful. We got it here and we can maintain it here. And that's the most important thing. As this is a sendable token, as you can see, you also can transfer the ownership of the liquidity provision to another wallet or another person, or to your other MetaMask wallets if you want to maintain it in another browser or another computer. That's the most important thing, and that's really cool that you can transfer the ownership of your liquidity provision by sending all or just a part of your Cake LP tokens, which represent your put-in. Okay, we don't want to send our put-in somewhere. We have made our liquidity provision. As you can see, we just got 110,000 Putin coins left and 0.0254 Binance coins. And when we turn back to the overview, we see that we got our put in. We have got a liquidity provision in the BNBW put V2 liquidity pool, and it's about 0.77 for BNB to 68999W put, and it's made in the V2 liquidity plan. We also can click onto it to see more detailed infos. We see that the liquidity is about 998.30 in this form when we let's say account this two amounts together, because it's about 2 times $500 around, which is around $1,000 on the whole. and that means your share in the W Putting Coin Binance Coin pool is about 10.6%. Wonderful! And now you begin to earn liquidity fees whenever a trade is made in the pool. When we go to swap and we make a trade, let's say we buy 5,000 putting coins, so we have a trading fee of 0.000157 Binance coins. And when we click on swap, this fee is shared between all the liquidity providers to the extent of their share in the liquidity pool. Okay? You've got 10%, so you earn 10% of this fee by this trade. Wonderful! And you haven't had to do anything for it, just to provide liquidity. And that's all, guys. That's how easy it is to earn liquidity fees and how to earn WPut and Binance coins within the Putting Coin Binance Coin liquidity pool on PancakeSwap. If there are any questions, in YouTube you find a lot of videos about how to use trading pools, how to do swaps, how to make intelligent liquidity provisions whatsoever. But I today showed you all you need to know how to provide liquidity to the W Putting Coin liquidity pool. And I wish you a successful liquidity provision. Let's earn a lot of trading fees. Have a nice day. Have fun. Make your put in.